Hello, human school fam. Carlos Whittaker here. So excited about this week's episode because it is truly unlike any episode I've ever done before. You guys know that normally I love to bring you interviews of ordinary people doing extraordinary things, living extraordinary lives, working extraordinary jobs. And most of the time, actually all the time, I've had to do that either on Riverside platform, on Zoom. Maybe once I did it like in a podcast studio, but today I get to do it out in the field because today we have Bo, who is our EcoTour Adventure Wildlife Guide here in Grand Teton National Park. And we were actually able to go out and see bear 6'10" with him. We were actually able to go out and see so much wildlife today. And on the way back, I thought to myself, he had so much knowledge about wildlife. I wonder what he could teach us about humans. I wonder what he can teach us about how to interact with people. He's a guide, which means he's got to be like half psychologist, half therapist, and he actually has to deal with the emotions of humans every day that have such high expectations that he can maybe just click on a button and release a grizzly bear. Well, that's not the case. So I thought, let's lean into that. So today we've got a 30-minute conversation where I get to literally lean into all of the things that a professional wildlife guide can learn about human beings. And I'm so excited to bring that to you. So sit back and enjoy this really unique perspective. And if you're watching on YouTube or on Spotify, you actually get to see us out in the field when we run across a black bear. It's going to be so cool. Bo, meet the human school family. Human school family, meet Bo. Fam, I'm in the car with Bo. This is Bo. This is Bo. Bo has just taken, Heather, actually, I'm going to give this to you. And I need you to explain what just happened.
Wait, what? This morning?
Yeah, with this morning.
So Bo has been very kind, and he has all the pressure of my desires of seeing a bear. And he delivered. And we pulled up to a location where we saw lots of cars. And sure enough, 6'10", who is 399's. Oh, what's happening here?
Left side. I didn't share this, but okay. I got a tip about this.
Oh,
Bo!
Live on camera.
Bo! Live on camera.
Okay, left side.
Okay,
we're looking down in this little draw here.
Okay.
Keep talking.
I don't know exactly where it's been moving.
Seatbelt
but
off.
I got word about a black bear. I think we're looking down and left. I think maybe through the roof hatches might be best. You got eyes up there?
Oh my gosh, guys.
Hey, Carlos, if you want to hop out, we can go up that hill right there.
He's so cool looking.
Well, necessarily won't.
He's so cool looking.
No, I think we're going up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where it's tricky.
Sure.
For a park.
Well, because there's no rangers here.
No ranger, no one to help manage this. And the black bear seems chill. He's doing things, but also he can run 30 miles an hour.
Someone could get hit.
Yeah, right. That guy's standing right there.
Not even looking at the car.
Nope, very focused that way versus looking this way.
Well, so I'm going to ask you this question first.
Yeah.
How do you handle seeing people like this?
Well, this is tricky. Because it's as a guide, you want to facilitate a good moment like this.
Yeah.
But it's also, this is where you try to get your guest to be more of a steward.
Sure.
More of this is why this might not be a good idea. Also, here's a park truck, just going to work, helping the park continue to operate on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely.
And this is where also, with people seeing this behavior over and over again, it's like selling anything. You see that commercial 10 times, and now that's what you're gonna do.
Absolutely.
So it's and even, there's a guide right there with his guests.
Yeah.
And they're on that side of the road.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of us. We're through roof hatches.
Yep.
We're far away.
Yep.
We can kind of be our thing. We kind of get the fuller view.
Yeah.
But this is a little hard.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be the one to say,
hey guys.
Yeah. Hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
Hey, that's not the best behavior to do. Because then you're the one who ruined all the fun.
Sure.
Yeah. But how cool for us that we've gotten both species.
Yes.
We got the grizz and the black bear today.
Okay, so how'd you end up doing this? How did you end up here?
I was so I was so lucky, man. My dad and mom would take me into the woods
Oh, really?
hiking, and then they would say, "Oh, which way's north?" And I'd be like, that way, and they go, "You're dead.
Oh no.
You went the wrong way."
Yeah.
And so that kind of like curiosity, always be looking, knowing which way the cardinal directions are, sparked that curiosity.
Yeah.
Always. And so I came up here to the Jackson Hole area as a kid.
Okay.
Some friends in Kelly, Wyoming, some friends in Pinedale, Wyoming, and we would just come up here and like do Yellowstone. I have my little booklet of when I was like 8.
A junior ranger?
Junior ranger, baby. Yep. I have all the drawings and like all the stuff. My mom still has it.
No way, dude.
Totally.
I've
got a picture of me, little bowl cut.
Okay.
Standing in front of the Tetons, like smiling like how little kids.
Photo.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I got to include that. That's amazing.
So I came out here a lot as a youngster, had these moments to connect here. And then I first moved out to the Tetons full time I'd done some research in the parks.
Okay.
But then I'd moved out here full time to do work for the Teton Science School.
Okay.
Which is bringing students and using the park as the data set.
Oh, no way.
So instead of like, here's your beakers and your Bunsen burners, here it's like, let's see what variation of plants are in this 50 by 50 plot.
Right.
And do it here kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but you weren't working for
not for the park. That's a nonprofit. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, I had some roommates and some friends who were wildlife guides, and I come back with all these cool photos of like, we saw the wolf, we saw the bear, but also they're still in like an education capacity.
Yeah, sure.
They're still trying to like teach people to inform.
Yeah.
And so that was like, I don't want to give that up.
Right.
Because that's what I love.
You love teaching.
I do.
Yeah.
And I used to teach second grade.
Okay.
Low functioning sociopaths. You're a parent. You know what that's like of like.
I mean, I got a 19-year-old one of those. So
yeah. More maybe more functioning.
Yes, a little bit more functioning for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah. And then I've always worked with EcoTour Adventures.
Okay.
It's like so clear to me.
Really?
They're the best shop.
Okay.
Like we get health insurance.
Wow.
And that split that we talked about, like you're a morning person versus a PM person.
Yep.
Just a level of like, because we were guide founded and are still guide owned.
Oh.
There's never a question of like, Carlos, why can't you work another Yellowstone? Because like, dude, I just worked 3 in a row. And it's like not safe for me to drive.
Yeah.
And I'm going to deliver a bad product.
Yeah.
So it feels really good to work for a shop that's like, if I need to play the card that's like, I'm burning out a little bit, I need a break. It's like, okay.
They get it. They understand. Does the owner still guide? Occasionally. Oh,
but he's aware that if he takes that trip to like get back out there in the field, then like I don't make money.
Totally.
Right?
No,
so he'll be like, does somebody need coverage?
Right.
I'm jumping in.
Yep.
Like I got up at 4:45 a lot in my career. I can still do it.
Wow.
So that's cool.
Okay, so how long have you been guiding then?
Guiding for 5 years.
Okay.
In this ecosystem for almost 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
as you're guiding, I can even tell even from today, you actually, yes, you have to have knowledge about animals in the park, but you kind of have to play a little bit of therapist as well. And reading people. You got to
read them.
You do.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
It's it's something that I think that I do well at.
Yeah.
Because I had to work with kids.
Okay.
And kids are such a metric of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah.
And like if they trust you or not, because they will not listen to you if you're not engaging with them. And so that world helped me understand like, okay, my people are tired. They're hungry. They're this. They're not into this.
Yeah.
They just want to do landscapes. Like reading that has helped me do this job better because I used to have to do it with kids.
Wow.
Who weren't as good at telling me what they need.
Right.
So
you're really looking for what the human needs that you're guiding as opposed to trying to get them on an animal or get them to.
I mean, if you can get all 3 and the third being a cup of coffee at the same time, then that's the pinnacle, right? Then that's like, okay, I got all points of the triangle.
Heather's waving at us.
Heather's saying we're going.
What's that?
Out of view. He went that way.
He's out of view. Oh, okay. We're just in the middle of a conversation. Okay, we'll finish this in the van.
Cruising.
We're going to go back down now and slowly make our way down.
Yeah. I made Carlos run up this big slope.
I don't want to cause an avalanche here.
So what's funny about that bear in particular is that he's like really, really black.
Yes,
In that a lot of our black bears out here aren't actually that dark.
Really?
They can be cinnamon, blonde.
Yeah.
Terrible.
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 Oh, he's talking about it up on the hill.
And they have their kids
just 15 yards away from a giant black bear. Oh, he just eats berries.
Yeah. No, those things eat meat. That's an omnivore.
Yeah.
And black bears have killed people. Yeah, a little black bear that can run 35 miles an hour and has 3-inch long claws.
Wow. Okay, Bo, as you're parking and getting the scope ready, you can keep talking.
Okay.
Paint a picture for me as far as what does a normal morning look like for you? Like, I want the job part of it. You wake up.
Yeah.
I can hear you over there too.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, it's I'm up at usually like 4:40, 4:30.
Yep.
And it's like get kind of, sometimes I feel like new guides try to like too extroverted.
Yeah.
That early in the morning. Like, I don't know if you noticed, like when I met you, I was just like, good morning.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. Not like, are you not full like summer camp vibe, this is beautiful. So yeah, that is like, okay, so you're up, you're getting everything ready. It's coffees, muffin, all of our snacks, hot water, all the optics that we use.
Okay.
We're getting all of those things
ready. Are you cleaning those things? Or
That's all done the night before.
Okay.
So how we run it is every guide is responsible to reset the vehicle every night.
Okay.
So like when I drop guests off, I'm like still there for like over an hour.
Oh wow.
Getting everything clean.
Yep.
And if you like notice this morning, like all the windows, really clean.
Oh, so
right? Floors,
video.
So just so that and you can see really well. So you don't get in a car that's like, got some like 8-year-olds whatever gunk that they got going on the windows. So it's getting all of that ready. And then, the night before, you kind of get your details on, you have this many people, they're staying at this hotel, you're picking up here, or they're really into this type of photography. Or
are they telling you that stuff before?
Before.
Okay.
Some of it we can get before.
Okay.
Some people were like, we have no idea what's gonna what they're gonna bring. And some people I don't think even know like what the program is gonna be.
Yeah.
They're not totally certain. And then it's 4, 8, 10, 12 hours, or it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 days.
Wow.
Of being out here looking for critters.
One of the things that you told me is that told us this morning is that like a bear, if you shave it, is the same color as its fur.
The skin.
The skin
is the same color.
Now I did not know that. Okay. So what I want you to do now is give us another fact that 99% of people are not going to know about bears.
Okay. A lot of people pay a lot of money for this ingredient at a restaurant.
Oh.
And some people like it on French fries. The oil of this thing. Any guesses?
On French fries. Truffle?
Truffle.
Yeah.
What animal finds truffles really well?
Bears.
Because they have a common ancestor with pigs.
What?
Yeah.
Bears and pigs?
Bears and pigs.
What?
So if you think of this black bear less as like, and we can we'll try to change our angles here if we can get eyes on him. If you think of that bear as a sniffing machine that can dig up anything, kind of like a pig.
Yeah.
That they have a common ancestor.
No way.
Yeah.
See, that blows my mind.
No, and that's why bear spray works so well.
Oh,
because this is how they navigate the world. So we're a visual animal.
Yep.
So if you take it's like a flash grenade.
Yep.
It's too much data for us to process all at once. So we're disoriented.
Oh.
Bear spray is an irritant, too much data, and it just clogs how they navigate the world.
Wow. So it has less to do with, I think at bear spray, you're thinking the puff.
Yeah.
And sure, a little bit of it is just going to make them run away, but it's literally like almost like a flashbang to a human.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's bear spray is actually at a lower concentration than human mace.
Huh.
Because the instrument that you're trying to irritate is at a much higher volume.
Oh,
versus us.
Yep.
We don't need, we actually need a little bit spicier because we can't smell quite as well.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who
I mean,
knew?
if you got bear sprayed, I've had bear spray in my eyes and nose before, and it
Really?
sucks.
Wow.
It's not like, this isn't bad.
Wait, why have you had bear spray?
I have had it go off in a vehicle before.
Oh, okay. Have you ever had to use bear spray?
I have, never at work.
Okay.
I've had to use it. I've used it on a moose in personal time.
Really?
And then I've used it once on a bear in Alaska.
Okay.
Which was the scariest moment of my life.
Okay, we're going to talk about it when we get back inside. Okay. You had to use bear spray on a bear in Alaska. Set the scene. Tell us the story.
So I was doing some research in Alaska. Kind of a longer part of this is for the car company Subaru, which is strange. They were the funders of it.
Yeah.
I was there for so long that I was able to get squared up with the Denali sled dogs.
Okay.
As a volunteer, and so I got to take out these dogs in the summer because they kind of have to keep training because they when they go to work is the winter.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it again.
Denali.
Yep.
In Denali National Park, there's one road.
Okay.
Versus here, we've been driving all around.
Yeah.
Right. And with these sled dogs, you if you're a volunteer, you go run with them.
Really?
Because in the winters when they work, we got to kind of keep them fit.
Yep.
For the summer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I'm out. It's amazing. It's kind of like speed dating.
Yep.
You go into the yard.
Yep.
With their handlers, and they're like, "Tell me about yourself." Like, are you hot tamale, cool cucumber? Like, where are you on these different axes?
Yeah.
Right. And then they pair you with a dog.
Okay. Wow.
And so I got paired with this 1.5-year-old Alaskan Husky.
Okay.
Named Cupcake.
Okay.
He was part of the 100-year litter.
Wow.
For the park, so they all had kind of like his sister's name was Party and Pinata and all this kind of like fun stuff. Yep. And then so Cupcake and I were on a run.
Okay.
In the national park.
How long ago was this?
8, 9 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll try from here real quick. Yeah. And just because we got a good view. And we're on a run on a road, just like this. And this big, I think it was a female actually, this big female bear just like walks onto the road.
Okay.
And we're probably here to where that person is.
Black grizzly?
Grizzly.
Okay.
And dogs and bears don't love each other. So like hiking out here with a dog can both be good sometimes because they'll let you know that the bear's there.
Right.
But sometimes can be not great as well.
Yep.
And so Cupcake starts freaking out and is barking and this female just keeps like walking towards us. Not doing that. Remember that like that noise? She did a couple clacks
with her jaw.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to like this dog is built to pull.
Yes.
Everybody else in the world pays a lot of money to train a dog trainer how to not get your dog to pull on a leash. Right. This is the direct opposite.
Yeah.
When I walk Cupcake out of the dog yard, I have to hold him by his collar because otherwise he'll pull me to the ground.
With the forelegs.
Yeah, he's too excited. Yeah. So I'm like, Cupcake's like between my legs, and I'm trying to like get the bear spray out, and as the bear comes, he's probably right about to where Corey is right now.
Okay.
And I spray, and even just the sound of the bear spray, the bear was out of it.
Really?
Just like we open a can of Coke, a bottle of wine, whatever, a volume depressurizing is not uncommon for us.
Yep.
For a bear, it's really weird.
Huh.
So, bear took off. Everything was like, okay, the bear's gone. We're going to get out of here. and the weirdest thing about that whole interaction is like, I'm like vibrating.
Sure.
I'm like super nervous. Right. And here's Jerry. And,
there's Jerry. Jerry pulled off like he's Jerry.
Yeah. Not his truck. Definitely a government vehicle. And these people drove by on the road. And I have this beautiful Alaskan Husky on a leash.
Okay.
And they go, "Is that a wolf?" And all I could say, you know, I might have used a choice 4-letter word,
Sure.
but I was just like, get out of here.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
Emotionally, I'm pretty vulnerable right now. I can't handle this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's my one time with a bear.
Okay, that's your bear spray.
Yeah.
Bear
Yeah.
spray.
But yeah, used it on a moose. I've definitely like taken the safety off
Sure.
for bears
Yeah.
on my own personal time. And but yeah, that was the one with the grizz. Yeah, my favorite bear, big guy. We'll see you. We'll see you next spring, maybe. Yeah, I mean, I might only see him a couple more times this season, and then he's gone, which I kind of love. It's kind of like you just get to go be a bear somewhere,
Yeah, no, totally.
and you don't have to deal with us.
He's like, I'll come say hi every once in a while
yeah,
to you humans.
yeah, yeah,
That's so. Okay, so this is a question I want to ask you.
yeah.
As a guide, and sometimes you do hiking trips.
Yep.
Sometimes you do multiple day trips.
Yep.
You're taking people into environments that are wilderness. I mean, they could get hurt. They could get, you know, there's danger.
Yeah, there's risk.
How do you get another human that maybe isn't used to those environments to trust you? Like how do you build trust in a short period of time? Because it feels like you've got to do that every day.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah. It's a funny thing, but kind of like back to teaching kids is like you got to learn their name.
Yeah. Oh wow.
And like you know,
Oh, preach right there.
That's good.
You might not notice, but like when y'all jumped into the car, like I used your name like 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
So that it's in my head.
Yeah.
Right?
And not only that, but then I feel seen
Right.
and known.
Yeah. Yeah.
And saying like, oh dude,
Yeah.
me and this guy are friends.
Yeah. Totally.
And I've only been with you for 2 minutes.
Totally. Yeah.
Wow. That's good.
So that kind of stuff. And then in the guiding world, there's kind of a 3 tiers of information.
Okay.
Guides are very good at, if you ask them, do you like black bears? Then they'll go, well, if we think about how they have a common ancestor with pigs, and they like go through this whole thing.
Sure.
Which you kind of feel like you need to do because you're thinking my guest paid to learn something.
Right.
But if you do give them a sentence.
Uh-huh.
If they're like, tell me more about that, or why, or what does that mean?
Yeah.
Then you give them the paragraph.
Yep.
Then you give them the book.
Oh, that's good.
So there's kind of these steps.
Yes.
Because I think some guides, you know, we've had a little bit different here today because, right, like Heather and I have met and like I know what y'all are interested in, but for some guides, I think they try to fill the space all the time.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think one of the great things about going with a guide, regardless of where you are, is that somebody else gets to drive. So you can just look out the window.
Yeah. Sometimes that's okay.
Yeah. And that's where that trust comes in of like, just kind of like read your folks into like, are they asking more questions? Are they digging in? Or are they just kind of sitting out there looking out the window and smiling and drinking their coffee? And that's what they wanted out of this vacation, this moment.
So I my last book, I spent 2 months screen free. So I spent 2 months, I didn't look at a screen. I got my brain scanned by neuroscientists before and after. I lived with monks. I lived with Amish farmers.
Interesting.
I did, and I wrote my experience just about the lost art of being human.
Yeah.
So you spend a lot of your time in quiet, having to be quiet because of this.
Yeah.
Having to be present. For those people that are listening to this that are living in like overstimulated chaos 24/7.
Yeah.
What do you feel like nature and stillness? Why is that so important? Not even to people that can't make it to Grand Teton, Great Teton, you know, like that are living in New York City.
Can get into a green space.
Yeah. You know, like why is that so important for us? What does it do for you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a decent amount of science in talking about walking barefoot on the planet and, you know, kind of that more chemical kind of connection that we have. But there's also like I don't know, like an ancestral knowledge or kind of space that's our species has done wilderness and quiet.
Yes.
Way longer than we've ever done the internet.
Yep. Totally.
And even if you think about, as a case example here, we talk about human history on the Teton landscape.
Yep.
Relatively white history in Grand Teton is 300 years old.
Wow.
Native history is 11,000.
Wow.
And so if you think about like and this is what part of why I love my job is not only is it getting people connected, seeing these places, and there's science that goes to show that even if you just know that Grand Teton exists when you're in Detroit, it can calm you down.
Really?
But also, what you're doing as well is oral history. That is how our species is not extinct. Wow. Is sharing oral history, like, hey, see that patch of trees? One time, my friend walked over there and a tiger killed him. Wow. Don't go to those patch of trees. That's how we're still alive. Our species still exists. And in an age where your phone connects you to anything you want, I kind of love that I get people in a van in Western Wyoming, and I just say, let's just share some stories. You tell me yours. I might tell you more proportionally, but let's see what we can swap.
So good.
So I like getting people out here for that.
Yeah. Well, you're really good at it. You're really good at building trust. You're really good at, I don't know. I think everyone in the car would say that we feel very connected, you know? And one last question for you. You're deep in the Tetons, okay? No service. No phone. Bo's all alone. You see a bear in the distance. Okay? And for a moment, it's just you and the bear. You and the bear in the wild. What's the feeling that you get in that moment? And why does it matter? It could be fear. It could be joy. It could be mixed.
I mean, there's probably always like a little uptick in heart rate, you know? But I think, you know, as we talked about today, like in the Tetons, we talked about like a bear that maybe have lost her cubs. And some things that are the brutality of the natural world can be hard to view. But I am more thankful that there are places where, yes, a bear might have trouble crossing the road or might whatever it is, but I'm thankful that there are still places on the planet where you don't have service. And you can still see the performance of the equation that has always happened on this on this landscape right here. Some places we've restored and, you know, like redone. But by and large, all the animals and all the plants that have lived here have lived here in perpetuity forever. Wow. And it feels such a privilege to be able to stand there and see that bear and know that my species and that species have been on this landscape for a long time, and that we hopefully can continue in that coexistence. And it's going to take work. And I think that's why it matters part, is that we still have it. We've lost it a lot of other places, and I'm not saying that we don't need LAX sometimes, but I'm saying that there should be places where, I mean, I'm going to quote the Wilderness Act, but where humans are only a visitor and the land is untrammeled. That it's like you can go and visit, and you can go and take that home, so that will hopefully improve your life. And you leave it there so that the next person and the next person can also engage with it.
Gratefulness is what I hear.
And gratefulness, you know, for sure, like we talked about, like my parents getting me outside, always like, let's go outside, you know, play around in the dirt. I have this core memory of I borrowed a friend's like early Game Boy. For those who remember what a Game Boy was. And my father was very strict on like no Game Boy, no video games, none of that stuff. And I borrowed a friend's in middle school, and I was sitting at home after school on the couch, you know, draw the curtains to see the screen better or whatever. And my dad walked in, and my dad is a fantastic father. I love him absolutely. And he grabbed that Game Boy, he opened the window, and he threw it out the window.
My God.
In the moment, I'm worried about the social ramifications of like, that was Jake's Game Boy, but now like, totally. But I think that moment really helped me understand probably not what I do now like, get outside. That's the original Game Boy. You will always be curious. It's always new. That's a big memory for me in that way.
Get outside. That's the original Game Boy. That'll preach. Oh, nobody can hear you.
Sorry. As an adult, have you talked to your dad about that memory?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And what did he say?
Yeah, he's like, I 100% stand by what I did.
Oh, that's
No.
awesome.
Yeah, because he's really proud that he's like that I'm like out here working in this landscape.
Yeah.
Versus like even some of the folks, I guess Jackson Hole is a crazy place to live.
Yeah.
And everything about it is extreme.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's extremely expensive.
Yeah.
It's extremely remote, but it's also extremely inspiring.
Yeah.
And beautiful.
Yeah.
And like all those pieces.
Yeah.
Just everything is up to 11.
Yeah. Yeah. So, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Yeah.
This was awesome.
Yeah. Great day.
I mean, hello. If there's one thing we've talked about so many times on this podcast, it's about seeing people. I've even mentioned saying their names. He talked about how to build trust. Just say someone's name. Take that to the bank, because I promise you that's a check that'll get cashed every single time. So many good nuggets. Thank you, Bo, for spending time with us. And also, everybody understand this. If you come to Jackson, Wyoming, if you go to Yellowstone, the absolute only wildlife tour I would go through is EcoTour Adventures, and I would ask for Bo every single time. There's a lot of other great tours here in Jackson. This is just the one that I've experienced, and I also know that Bo loves to conserve wildlife while also loving to teach people and show people around and educate us as to how important it is that we can continue to live and to thrive together with the animal kingdom all around us. Thank you, Bo. Thank you, EcoTour Adventures as well. And Human School fam, that is the lesson this week. We will see you next week on another episode of Human School.